Hello, everybody. My name's Gino, and I spoke with a couple people at the VA this past week about what I considered to be a vision that I had while sleeping on the future. It came to me automatically. It was the future of healthcare, and that this vision would be 2040 to 2060 would be the time frame, and I honestly feel like if it can be executed then, it can be executed today, as quick as the bright minds can make things happen. And here's the story. This past Friday, so sometime in January 2025, or it's not this previous Friday, but the one prior to it. I was at an all-time low for little to no reason. I was in the kitchen. I got my little K-cup coffee thing so I can get my microplastics for the day, and getting ready to figure out what to do next, and I just froze, and that happens often, and you get stuck, and the whole theory is go back where you were, and I was just stuck. I was staring at a part of the table, the counter in the kitchen. I'm just looking at this one little piece, and I dropped down into this hole, this abyss that I've never fallen into in my life, that just repeatedly said, kill yourself now, end it now, end it now, end it now, end it now. All the whispers and weird sounds and shit, right? So I guess that makes me crazy. My wife got me out of that, and I would have gladly went into a mental institution. However, my first experience was so poor that I once toured by myself second floor at the Sioux Falls Regional VA, and it was like a lockdown, and it just brought me back. I just saw, don't judge the Sioux Falls Regional VA. I think this is just status quo. And that's what I'm saying, is the future is the future. The future is coming. If you don't believe this out of the words of my mouth, I don't have the degrees, I don't have additional identifiers behind my name on a business card, which is oh so important in this world. You got to hold on and be dear to what you know and believe to be the world, and how to help people. And I can say that there were a bunch of people where I was that had business cards that had identifiers behind them, and they did little to nothing to actually help the humans in that building, to include myself there, just asking for help. So 4 minutes into it, it's time to tell the future, and here it is. Future of mental health is going to be a 3-tiered system. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. Tier 1 is what I was looking for a couple Fridays ago. When I was in my dark of dark, and even as I was getting pulled out of it, I felt so weird, so awkward, that I don't even trust myself. Like, I have hit an all new veil of thinness between protected and unprotected, and safe and unsafe. That all I really wanted was a soft pillow to land on, a blanket, somebody pointing me to a room saying, "That's yours." Little to no questions asked. Little to no stripping. I need my boots to walk around. I can't walk on my bare feet. They're tender as heck. I'm one number away from diabetic for the last 5 years, at least, if not more. So I'm awfully close, but awfully close doesn't get helped or treated. So my body continues to deteriorate. That's a big word. In many, more than one way. I don't want to say many ways, more than one way. This isn't a crying session. This is a lesson. This is a learning session for you. So while I have 555, while I have everybody listening, I'll try to speed the story up. The story is the tiered system of tier 1, 2, 3. And that first tier is nothing but a soft pillow to land on, that when you raise your hand and say, "I have a mental disconnect, I have a mental disorder, there are short circuits in my mind that don't always reconnect the way they should reconnect," and I raise my hand and ask for help, I shouldn't be treated like a second or third class citizen because I raised my hand and said, "I have a mental disorder and it's causing me to feel this way, and I just need a bed for a night or two and see if I can get my head back on before we look further investigate." And at tier 1, a couple people have heard this, 2 people have heard this at the VA, but I'm modifying it, is that you check in, you commit to 48 hours. And at the end of 48 hours, no staff member, nobody from Lincoln or Minnehaha County can say you're a threat to the public just because you got good insurance and hold you in there longer than what you're requesting as a human to even be like, "I'm 51, I want to go home." And other people get to make decisions for you permanently, for or not for your better case or cause, or how therapy is going to work for you the best. I know a lot of people that came out when I came out within a day or two, and they were all offered, for the next month, they were offered outpatient therapy Monday through Friday, where they show up kind of like for class or school throughout the day and get released at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the down and dirty goes further. I wasn't offered that. Oh well. I would have liked to have participated in those. Maybe there's gold. I always think that there's gold somewhere, and that if I listen to everything, I might pick up some of the gold. Tier 1 is up to you. I show up. I get to release myself, as long as I'm not a threat to my wife, I'm not a threat to my children going back home, I'm not a threat to society, and that we agree that the exit is, "Hey, thanks for the bed, I appreciate it." And if I show up next week, next month, once a year, 7 times a year, tier 1 is available to me as an option in my life if I say I need it. And I take the pledge to agree not to go there and just start living in tier 1 for the rest of my life. Because if so, then you need that further. You need to go to tier 2. Tier 2 also can graduate you from people that are aggressive inside the facility versus not. Tier 1, non-aggressors. Tier 2 is if you check into tier 1 and you start kicking stuff and disrespecting staff and F you and F this, congratulations. You just graduated yourself based on your own actions to tier 2. Tier 2, you may or may not get to be released on your own because you acted up inappropriately at tier 1. Tier 1 are for safe people. that need and are asking for help, that are messed up, asking for straightening of their head to get realigned. Tier 2 is people that don't respect Tier 1. Could also be, a detox could be tier 2. Tier 3 is you're an aggressor towards staff. On Tier 2, you reached out and touched someone like AT&T or something, and congratulations, now you are at Tier 3. Tier 3 is the lockdown that we see in mental health today, period. And there is a place for that. But that place isn't for somebody that doesn't wish to get treated, like I said, like a third-class citizen and get stripped of everything for my safety. I know shoelaces are a big thing, but when I went into an institution 2 years ago, and that is on YouTube, at the Bearded Man's WoodShop, or Gino Perillo on Facebook, Pirillo, Geno, that forgot what I was going to say, and I don't have anybody next to me to help me out. So if you want to know more stuff or you would like to discuss this further, I encourage that. I accept text only at 605 55. No, that ain't right. 605 951 8707. Text only. The phone rings, I will not answer it. I promise you that. Peace and love. You can tell me who you are, how you want to help create change with this tiered system where everybody doesn't get treated poorly for having a mental disconnect. Doesn't even make sense, does it? I mean, once you hear about the tiered 1, 2, 3 system, it's like it's tough to go back to treating everybody like they're on lockdown because they raise their hand and ask for help. Because statistically, if you were to look at I got to pick on what I know, which is South Dakota, and I got to pick on what I know, which is Sioux Falls Regional VA, that if they have 6 beds, and a lot of the times those 6 beds aren't even full in a complete lockdown situation, and there's 200,000 people in the city and 250,000 people just in 2 metro counties, Minnehaha and Lincoln County. That tells me anybody that's ever been in it probably chooses not to ever really want to go back again. So the number would be how many people never came back, and then you guys are patting yourself on the back saying you did a good job. Look, these people ain't coming back. And you got to understand environment. Having absolutely the right people in the right seats, not just people in seats. And I don't have anybody to dog out. I've never been to the mental institution at Sioux Falls Regional VA, and I'm holding myself off from ever going there. And how many of me is there out there in a metro of 250,000 people? And let me ask you, how many beds are in Minneapolis? How many of them are repeat customers? What's the population of Minneapolis, St. Paul Metro? Isn't it 3.7 million? And how many number of beds do you have for the veteran population up there? It's got to be more than the population of all of South Dakota veterans. And it's a large, big city. And if this tiered system of 1, 2, 3, that you raise your hand and ask for help and you don't get punished for it, you'll see the beds get filled up, and you'll see people raise their hands more often saying, I want help. I just don't want to take the cheesy / easy way out. and end it all today just because my dark got darker than ever before. It's not my fault. Shit happens. I hope this makes sense. I tried to keep flowing and be as behaved as possible, and thank you. Bye.